Yeah. Hey, bisexual Daniel is what they call me down at the YMCA.
BSD, alright.
Has
come,
and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see.
Doom, 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 doom.
No, I won't.
Should we just be your friend? No,
I won't. Shed a tear, not
Shed a
that
tear.
That's not it.
All right, and anyway, the Joker was really cool. So,
I was like, can we do the musical episode right now?
Anarchy.
Fuck it, right? I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say that today has shown me why being a villain pays.
Yes, because you don't give a fuck.
This is why we should be inspired by the Joker movie.
at least all their
Ryan!
No, he's right. Live your truth.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Don't
exactly.
pretend.
And stop
You guys
taking
have
your
And
man's
if you're
minds.
crazy, let us handle you now. Then in the future, we have more elaborate schemes with fish
See,
that turn people crazy.
You
with
thinking
smiles on
like
their
that,
face.
you're the fucked up one, Daniel.
Yeah, because if Bruce was just took care of the Joker from Jump,
I was just
We
going to
had all
say
these
be
problems.
yourself.
you
Are
took
we
it.
introducing this thing?
All right.
We're balls deep in it right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, apparently this is the
Balls
episode.
deep.
Bite the pillow, we're going and drunk.
All right, let's go ahead and
All right,
actually
let's-
start the episode. Hey, everyone, welcome to the Escaping Podcast.
The best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between.
And by everything in between, he means those moments where you're about to blow your fucking brains out because not all your microphones work. On this episode, you're going to hear me lose my fucking mind, but today we're talking about villains, and I guess that's kind of appropriate. I'm Daniel. To my left, I've got...
Kills for show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that it?
I do mad AKAs one episode. All right, from here on out, you're gonna get a lot of them. Fuck it.
Good.
We're doing it.
We've got TJ here with us, as always.
How you doing?
How are you doing, TJ?
How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. So far, this evening's been pleasant for me.
You just had to sit back, relax, and watch me fucking pull my hair out.
That's right.
Yes.
It's great. Across from us, there's a fellow over there who I think we've seen before.
It's your boy, Plum Bob Ryan.
Plum Bob. What's up?
Ryan, tell us a little bit about the plumb bob job.
It's the most helpful tool in plumbing that you can ever have.
Oh, because you're a Mario brother. That's
There it
right.
is.
That's right.
What? Yeah, oh, okay.
So today we're talking about villains. It is October. We're getting into more spooky, ooky, sexy, texy territory. Guys, tell me about some of the villains that you like.
All right. Well, first off, so villains are always the ones that oppose the heroes, right?
Yes.
Technically speaking,
The
traditionally.
opposition. The ops, as the kids
Yeah.
call them nowadays.
And so, anyway, the folks that always screamed out to me were Magneto and Apocalypse. Of course,
They screamed at you?
yeah, well, yeah, something about only the strong will survive.
X-Men.
I'm pretty sure that those are the lyrics to a Journey song.
Oh, shit, it is.
I thought it was a Macho Man Randy Savage quote.
Oh, yeah. Only strong, brother. Oh, yeah.
That's actually
Snap into a Slim Jim.
that's the Apocalypse origin story.
He is the macho man.
He is an irradiated Randy
You just see the
Savage.
mustache in the distance.
What about you, Ryan? Tell me about some villains that tickle your funny bones.
The ones I came in, the ones that I
What?
the ones I came in prepared to talk about
have to
tonight
edit that.
was we got Atrocitus from Green Lantern, one of the Red Lanterns, and also I'm going to the video games and I got Ansem from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, shit. Tell me about Ansem. Is he wise? Is
Okay.
Is he
so
handsome?
I'm not gonna go. I ain't gonna go real deep into it, but there's
he not like when you came inside them, like you just
No,
said?
this is PG podcast.
No, it's,
No, it's
not.
not.
Do you hear Daniel
This is
from like
Triple
Jump
X.
Street?
I got the wrong memo.
Triple X like Vin Diesel
This
movies.
changes everything.
That's it. When you said plumb bob, I had an entirely different meaning.
Yeah, I heard plum bottom. I was like, yo.
Because the thing that we don't know as
It's
not
your
being
boy Power
plumbers-
Bottom Ryan.
Yo, hey, the bass.
Kelsey, before Ryan comes in another villain, go ahead and tell me about some villains that jump out at you.
Of course, if you already know me, you pretty sure. If you've been listening to the podcast, you already know one of the villains I'm going to speak about is Dr. Doom himself.
Indeed.
And because there's a lot of different areas when it comes to villains and their motives. For me, Doom represents the ego, the arrogance, and the villain doesn't think he's a villain because he thinks he's right. Then another one would be Galactus, and some people would say he's not a villain; he's more of a force of nature. It's
There it is.
something
That's right.
you can't be mad at, like the wind is going to happen. And then the last one is Sabretooth, because he's just crazy. And then you have some villains that just do shit because that's how they're wired. They're wired to be different than normal humanity, and it's the reason why even his groups of people that hated or feared, he's hated and feared more than others.
Because he's a fucking savage.
He's a
the Plum Bob of the villain universe.
Jesus
exactly, or at least with the X-villains, he's the
that
guy.
string that holds everything together.
He's the
You know what
Carnage.
Plum Bob is?
It sounds like SpongeBob SquarePants, but it also sounds like a sexual
Plum
act.
Bob. I could make a TV show.
Yeah, Plum Bob is like his deviant
my
cousin
idea.
that works in the red light
Overall
district.
pants,
Like Bob the Builder.
Yes.
plumber crack.
For me, I guess it's got to be my three that I picked. Mr. Sinister, he's fantastic.
Indeed.
Depending on which version you come up
No,
across.
he's incredible.
And he has his nasty boy.
Yeah, he's got his nasty boys. The fact that they all look like him and kiss better is a whole thing. For more on how Mr. Sinister kisses, check out episode 2. I think it's the first time we had TJ on.
Yeah, I don't recall the sinister kissing part, but I can imagine it.
Yeah.
We can all imagine it. Ryan's doing it right now. Stop it, Ryan.
Okay.
Ryan, stop it.
I'm sorry.
Put your pants back on,
just
Ryan.
because we're all naked here for this podcast does not mean that
Underneath
you
our
get to-
clothes,
I
two
didn't get the
eyes.
memo.
I'm fully dressed.
So Mr. Sinister, he's fantastic. He's always got something stupid up his sleeve. Then it's either between...
Stupid up his sleeve or something sinister.
Oh, shit. I really like the Riddler as well because he could be good. But he could. He's smart enough, but then he's like, no, the dumb thing to do is to be good.
F it.
The smart thing to do is to be bad.
Who was your
And
favorite adaptation?
And
of
show
the
your
Riddler?
intelligence and how smarter than you are
shit.
than
Obviously,
Did
Oh,
you
the
get a
Jim
chance
Carrey
to see
version,
the
right?
Not
Gotham
Jim Carrey.
Riddler?
I like the guy who voiced him in the Arkham games. Because
Yeah.
it was
Was
just
that
the right amount of
Neil
condescending.
Patrick Harris?
No.
Did he voice him in something? I don't know.
No.
Not everything is Neil Patrick Harris.
I'm sorry,
Kelsey.
I'm just an arrogant bastard right now. So I'm gonna just say things I might
Hold
think
on,
are
you got me
correct.
messed up now. Was it him who was Jim Carrey the Riddler in the movie?
Yes,
or
he was.
Because people were saying Neil Patrick Harris should be.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I'm.
yes,
That's what
yes,
I'm.
yes,
Yeah,
they're
okay.
Did you get a
campaigning
chance
for
to see Digma on Gotham?
No.
The TV show?
Because that
no,
show is garbage.
Stop.
Wait,
It's
wait,
a
wait,
bad
wait.
show.
Wait.
He was a very good villain.
It was a nice
I really
setup.
liked him.
I'll say that was one of the things I did like about Gotham was the setup of the Riddler and the Penguin. Other than that,
I love the whole show.
Well, that makes sense.
did you watch the whole show?
So I watched the season and a half.
Ah, see, I knew
Now,
it.
question: are you also a fan of the Muppet Babies or
Oh,
the
hell yeah.
Flintstones?
Muppet Babies, they make a dream come true.
A pup named Scooby Doo?
Oh, don't get me started on a pup named
This
Baby
is
Looney
all the
Tunes?
same thing.
Pollyanna.
What?
'Cause you
Wait,
gotta stay
pause.
positive.
Pause. We gotta cue the chase music. That's a pup named Scooby Doo reference for
It's
the
pretty
youngsters
good.
out there. You gotta watch that.
And I guess my final one is going to be the Mighty Monarch from Venture Brothers. Oh, yeah.
Venture! Dr. Girlfriend!
What is it, sweetie?
Henchman!
He's
Venture.
fantastic. He's just so obsessed with Dr. Venture, and he's lovable at times, too.
Yes.
He's a really good character. Before we go any further, let's just throw out the disclaimers there. 1, we are naked. 2, we're recording at Escape Velocity Comics, and they're very nice to let us record here, but our thoughts,
Yes,
our
they
ideas,
are.
our beliefs, our naked, sweaty bodies have nothing to do with them. In fact, they're just our opinions, our beliefs, and our swinging bits. Our
plumb bobs.
Our plumb bobs, yeah,
The
exactly.
Plum Bobs, exactly.
You shouldn't have said that, Ryan. Should not have said that. So don't hold them accountable for this
Plum Bobs out
content.
there.
This content that gets you hot and bothered.
But you can hold them against us.
Everybody go out and buy a Plum Bob tonight.
Yes.
So
Everybody Plum Bob tonight.
Everybody do
Doo-doo-doo.
the Plum Bob.
Everybody Plum Bob tonight.
So let's go ahead and get into some of the topics there, guys.
Did we do the full disclaimer?
Yeah, we just did it.
You don't listen. You don't listen, and
don't.
that is the problem. So let's get into what makes these villains villains. Like, I mean, do they have tragic backstories? Are they bad just for the sake of being bad? TJ.
All right, so the villains of any story are the ones that are opposing the heroes. Mm-hmm. And I say that it seems kind of vague and ambiguous, but the point is really that the villain doesn't have to be a bad guy, doesn't have to be pure evil.
Sure.
Usually they're portrayed as such, but they don't have to be pure evil. So if you want to talk about like Magneto. Mm-hmm. Right. So Magneto's super powerful, horrible, tragic backstory, depending on which one you follow. How many kids does he have? I don't know. How many has he lost? Who cares? But the point really is that he's an ideologue.
Right.
So he's got an idea that he follows, and sometimes that aligns with the heroes, in which case he becomes the headmaster of the school.
Right.
And then other times it departs away from the rest of the interests, and so he becomes the bad guy.
Yeah, and just like with Doctor Doom, like his origin revolves a lot around his mother.
He's got the mommy issues.
He has mommy issues because his mom died, and his main reasons for getting into like the sciences and even magic was to save her soul from the devil, and that puts him on his path to go to the Ancient One, the same person that trained Doctor Strange to learn magic. And he gets booted out of that because he was trying to learn dark arts and go way above his means at that time. Because he was trying to learn the most as fast as he can. And his arrogance didn't allow him to be patient and work within the bounds that the temple had constructed for them.
Okay. So, real quick, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Is his mom's soul actually in trouble, or is this more of a Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Chevy Chase, man of the house situation?
Oh, yeah.
No. His mom's soul is possessed by Mephisto, my fault. Mephisto, but I'm not sure. I think it was something to do with a deal she made with him. Because normally that's how it works with him. Like, you make a deal with him and he's going to come back and collect at some point in time.
Right.
So after he gets kicked out of the Ancient One's temple, he starts pursuing science. And that's when he ends up meeting like Reed Richards and MIT, I believe it might have been. And that's when he had the accident that disfigured him. Then he goes back to Latveria, and then he becomes the Doom that we all know. Some may hate, some love. And then he grows this arrogance and this the need to best read and to show the people of Latveria like he is there for them, and that he is the best thing the world needs, because the world needs a hero, and nothing saves the world more than Doom.
Right.
And I'm gonna start telling you guys about Atrocitus. Only one of the main reasons I love this guy, he's got a cat partner, which is a tragic backstory.
Who doesn't love
Is
a
it
pussy
Dexter?
friend?
Dexter.
Dexter.
Starting with him,
the cat.
real short, it's the saddest 2 pages you'll ever read.
Aww.
He lived with this lady in an apartment. That apartment got burglarized, and then they took the cat.
What
and
the hell?
Yeah, and then they killed the lady, took the cat, and then they put the cat in a bag and flung it off of a cliff.
Jesus
into
Christ.
Into water.
Did they think the cat was a witch too?
No, but like right after that, it's pretty badass. You see the red ring come, and then that's how the cat, like, it's cool because it's on the cat's tail.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love that cat. But
That's a great cat.
and then off of Atrocitus, it's like, are they truly like born evil? And I like, off of what you were saying, I don't really think so of Atrocitus, because if you read Green Lantern, you know about the Guardians of the Universe, and they created the Manhunters.
Yes.
And the Manhunters had this glitch, which it wasn't the glitch, but they're saying was no man can escape the Manhunters. They were the police force before the Green Lanterns.
The rough draft.
Paul Blart year 1.
Yeah. And they had this glitch in the system, which it was the worst bloodbath in DC history. They killed a whole entire planet in Space Sector 666, which is called
Very
Riot.
nice, yeah.
And that planet was completely wiped out besides 5 people, and Atrocitus was kind of their leader.
Oh.
And all these guys sought out to revenge on the Guardians of the Universe.
Okay.
And the Guardians of the Universe, they kind of served... they were called the 5 Inversions, which Atrocitus led. And the Guardians kind of use them as their puppets because they can do these like blood prophecies.
Okay, point and shoot.
Yeah, so they can do these like rituals and blood prophecies, which is why they can shoot like napalm blood out of their mouths.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is dope as fuck.
If your date's not going well, you got that. That's fantastic. You
Vomit fire on her.
But
That'll
then
end the conversation right
Instant
away.
barbecue.
they're the ones who actually prophesize the Blackest Nights, and this is the Blackest Night, which is that giant DC universe.
right,
But
right,
yeah.
right.
So I mean, it's a lot, but I mean that's pretty much his main motive, just to take out.
Was
the
that a
Guardians.
Jeff Johns creation too?
Yeah, it was at. He first appeared in Volume 4, Issue 25, and that was like Rage of the Red Lanterns.
Yeah.
Damn. You came prepared with that.
No,
He knows his thing.
Jeff Johns is that run starting with Secret Origin, because he appeared in Secret Origin. He was the reason why Abin Sur died, because he made Abin Sur take him and on his ship, and then the ship crashed, and then Atrocitus got freed, and then that's how Hal Jordan went and found the ring.
Okay, that makes more
But
sense.
that's
yeah.
like not. It's Jeff Johns canon.
It's a retcon.
They're a retcon, right?
Yeah.
So is Atrocitus anti-Green Lantern, or is he simply idealistic?
He, like, it states like some of his villains are Sinestro, Guardians of the Universe, and of course the Green Lanterns. But funny or not, they ended up having to work together when the Black Ring comes out, and then, unite our powers to go defeat.
Then they gave the rings to all those other people, and that was fantastic.
If you know who Guy Gardner is, he got one of the red rings. Dude, I have that figure of the he's got blood on his mouth with the chainsaw and everything. Oh, it's so cool.
So one,
It is so cool.
I guess the one of my three I want to talk about is the Riddler.
There you go.
Because
Riddle me
goddamn,
this.
I love the Riddler. Yeah, he
got a riddle
knows
for
he's
us?
the smartest one out there, and the only person smart enough to figure out his clues, as fucking obscure as they are, is Batman.
Of course.
It ties into that detective part of Batman being the world's greatest detective, not just punching and gargling marbles when he talks and having young boys die all the time.
And also, he has one of the best names in like actual aliases as his names.
Edward Enigma.
And it was like, come on now.
Enigma. Yeah,
Come on, man. It's
so
there.
good.
It's good.
I liked seeing all the different portrayals of him because over the years he went from dorky like, what has no arms, no legs, and
A clock.
A clock. Like, no, it's got hands, and I mean, this one's a calico cat, and it's got legs, and you're wrong. To being just a little more, he knows Batman will figure it out, but it's all about the game, and it starts off easy clues to get Batman on a trail, and then it becomes oh, cut this guy open, here's his heart, who's the heart of Gotham, and it's great,
Yeah. And another thing about the Riddler too, like you mentioned earlier, like he could be a good guy.
He could be a good guy.
Was there any comic where they had the Riddler kind of being on the good side or helping like Bruce
if
or
I'm not
Batman?
if I'm not
in a way?
mistaken, it was around No Justice. I want to say some of the more recent stuff with the source wall being broken, and you're like, oh well, here come the trees that are going to destroy everything, and Riddler's like, I could help. I'm not going to, but I could help. And then in Dark Knight's Metal, he could have helped because it was the end of the world, but again, he had the opportunity. Yeah. But he sees the opportunity and he's like, no, that's stupid. If everyone else is doing it, if everyone is doing this one thing, then it's got to be easy and stupid, and it's not the smart thing to do. They're all rushing in there, they're getting their asses handed to them. I'm just gonna chill over here and plan my next move for when Bats does come back because he's gonna come back.
It doesn't sound like he's a good guy.
He's not a good guy. Well, he has the chance to be a good guy.
Because I got some newfound respect for him after watching the Hush animated movie.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know it was gonna be him. Spoiler alert! Like, oh shit! Like he took his, I don't know, I won't say gimmick, but his gimmick to a next level. It's like, yo, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let everything play out and show you that I can be the threat to Batman. I can best the Bat, not as who you perceive me to be, but as somebody else, knowing the angles that I know and having the mind that I have. Because you think, like you said, he thinks he's better than Batman. He tries,
believes he's better than Batman.
Not thinks, believe, because that's a lot of things that separates these villains from different villains because they don't believe they're villains. Like, for example, Dr. Doom. Everything he does is for the betterment of mankind and for Latveria because he believes his way is the best way. Like in Doom War, when he was trying to not take over Wakanda, but take over the Vibranium, he had to go before the Panther God Bass and submit himself to the Bass to be judged by her judgment. And she realized, oh, you are worthy. You believe that under your rule, the Earth will be the best that it can possibly be.
Sure.
And she grants him access to the Vibranium, which shows us as a reader, like, Doom was right.
It's not a bias for him. Yeah. It's an absolute truth for him.
He doesn't believe anything other than the fact.
I mean, there's that whole thing that the people of Latveria love him. Yes. They love the guy. Yes. Whenever the Fantastic Four come in, they're throwing tomatoes at him. They're just like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking freaks.
Eggplants. Whatever vegetation they have in Latveria.
So
kumquats.
Kumquats. Yeah.
That's like the national export. Yeah.
The good old kumquat.
So it sounds like Doom is a villain. But if you talk about the Riddler, for example, Riddler, Doom may or may not be a villain. Excuse me.
It depends on
depending on where you stand.
Depends on where his interests lie. Depends on if they intersect or reinforce whatever the heroes are doing. But Riddler has to be a villain.
He has to
because
be a
he
villain.
necessarily has the need for a hero to crack his code and to defeat him baked into his psyche.
Yeah, I think it's him having to push himself to be better. If Batman can figure this one out, then I got to push myself to come up with something more complex.
Because he's not challenging other villains to best him mentally either. Because there are other super geniuses. Like, he's not going to Metropolis like, hey, Lex, what happens if this happens?
Yeah,
like,
no, he doesn't
he's
care
not doing
about
that.
And that's the thing too. It's like Batman is just a man. Riddler is just a man with a brain as well.
Yeah.
So it's honestly one of his
Well, the
most
sweet
evenly
both
matched
have skills
villains.
and the
Yeah.
kung fu
Yes.
moves.
Exactly.
Yes.
But so he absolutely has to be a villain, opposed to Batman at all costs.
Sure.
That's a different kind of villain that we've normally been talking about. I want to talk about Galactus for a minute.
Which is just a
yes.
constant in a universe.
Well, you can call him a force of nature if you want to, but the point is he's got a particular interest in the universe. A
and
role to
tasty,
play.
tasty globes.
Yes,
And
because
so choose up planets, whatever, right? But the point is sometimes he chooses up our planet, sometimes he doesn't.
or he chooses to try to chew other planets. Because Galactus debuted in Fantastic Four issue number 48 in 1966, and his original name is Galen. He was a survivor of a previous universe. When that universe collapsed, he would rebirth in the Big Bang of the 616 and became intergalactic cosmic necessity, where he would go around devouring planets just to keep a cosmic balance. Because you can't have rebirth, you can't have the new without getting rid of the old. So that's his whole purpose in the ecosystem of the universe. He's that bacteria, you would say, like, or the algae fish in the tank. He has to eat things so there'd be space for the new things and cleanse it. But people would see that as being a villainous thing when it's your homeworld that he's coming to munch on.
But it also exists in a lot of other mediums and just in the lore of everything. In the Marvel universe, the end or the universe or whatever, Franklin Richards is there at the end with him, and Franklin Richards creates worlds and universes, and they're both there. And when they get to the point where, recapping everything, when Franklin is born, even Franklin posits, do you think if I hadn't been born, you would have died for good? Like, is my birth the reason you keep coming back? Because we are, two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
It's
if Galactus is the constant eater and Franklin's the constant creator.
Entropy, creation, destruction. It goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
That doesn't. I don't think that makes either of them, necessarily evil to the other. They're just two forces that have to exist side by side.
Like, lightning happens and it strikes on and creates a fire, but the fire destroys the earth, but it also replenishes the ground. It causes more things to grow.
But then we've got other characters that don't exist for the balance. They exist for chaos. And you were talking about Ansem.
Ansem from Kingdom Hearts.
Talk to me about Ansem.
Handsome Ansem.
I tried to pick out the less confusing way to explain this goddamn video game.
And which Kingdom Hearts did he debut in?
Kingdom Hearts 1 technically,
okay.
But then you start going back and playing all the other games, and there's like 8
Like the prequel games?
Yeah, there's which are all great.
I hold to the fact that Kingdom Hearts is one of the best animes out there.
Yes,
It's
Disney's-
ridiculous.
If they were smart, they would have been made a movie through Pixar with all
I
those
was so
characters.
angry when they released everything on like PlayStation and like PlayStation 4 because I bought a PSP, I bought a 3DS, and I bought anything. I hated Chain of Memories because of the. If you ever played that game, like the card one, oh man,
It's a
I don't play
bullshit
the
game, but a
games,
great story.
But I stay up
Great
late
story.
nights just on YouTube videos listening to the whole chronological
it
order
is
of
the
Kingdom Hearts
saddest,
from time
most
to time.
emotional game. I just saw this post on. It's like
Chain of Memories?
No, the
Just
whole
entire
entire series.
Oh, yeah.
The whole entire series is like
Heartless
this
kids
sad,
and no memories.
emotional game, but it's disguised with Disney characters and colors. I just saw that like it's a sad game. Like
I guess you lost all your friends.
I just went on Earth, you have a heart.
well,
Hey, Sora. Looks like your friend just died.
Hey, Sora, I got a fun fancy for you.
there's this funny video. It was like playing Kingdom Hearts when you're in your mid-20s. And like, hey, Sora, we gotta live and we gotta help out the light and use our heart. And the dude watching it is just like, Jesus fucking Christ. But Ansem, going on to Ansem. Ansem is a heartless of Xehanort. And Xehanort is like the main antagonist of like the
I thought it was
whole
the
entire-
other way around.
No, Xehanort.
you're right.
Xehanort's
Master Xehanort.
Master Xehanort is the old bald dude. So, and the reason Ansem looks the way he does, if you guys ever played Birth by Sleep, or who knew Terra, Aqua, and Ventus are,
Nope, never.
he looks...
This is surprising, TJ. I figured out of everyone here today, you would be our Kingdom Hearts expert.
I know. You don't
Tell
know what a
me.
Heartless is?
I was pretty
Would you like to
excited.
explain to him what a Heartless is?
Pretty
Just
excited
real
when you started
quick?
saying Mario Brothers. I understood that one.
Do you want me to go back to Plum Bob's?
Yeah,
You know I want you to go back.
So I guess what makes Ansem do what he does, and why is he evil?
Well, so their whole entire end game is everybody wants Kingdom Hearts. They want to balance light and darkness.
And what? So not the video game. They're not all like at GameStop just pummeling each other for the video game. What is Kingdom Hearts?
Oh.
In the easiest way you can explain it.
Okay.
in the world.
Kingdom Hearts is a video game in which you have to save the world.
Sure, I mean, but what is the Kingdom Hearts that they're after?
I don't know. I still don't know. It's okay. So the Kingdom Hearts.
And that's why we have Google.
It's a moon-looking planet, right? It's a moon-looking planet. It's shaped like a heart, and it's the heart of all worlds. And Ansem tries to access it to gain control of all of the worlds.
Then he gets friend zoned.
So I think
not a real thing.
And you don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts.
I picked it up pretty quick. Yeah.
Riku.
But okay. Speaking of Riku, I don't know how long I'm supposed to go on this, but it's okay. Okay, all right. Well, I'm just gonna use my notes.
Hit the bullet points, baby.
Ansem was a researcher and a ruler of his own world. He studied the Heartless, and then while doing so, he was possessed by darkness.
Okay,
and that led to him destroying his own home world. And he sacrificed his own body to obtain great power, and then that's where Kingdom Hearts 1 comes in. He then possesses Riku, and when he does that, he regained his physical presence. So it's kind of like the easiest way to explain it. It's like a Horcrux in Harry Potter.
There you go. I
So-
understand that.
But for the people that out there that don't read books such as Harry Potter, what is a Horcrux?
All right. So a Horcrux, mate, is
Blimey!
Doesn't have to be Australian.
I was going
Australian.
but like a
In the accent,
Horcrux
please.
is it's a piece that you entrap your soul. It could be a water bottle. It could be this microphone.
Word.
You entrap your soul inside of it, so if you die, you're still alive.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah.
It's like a remainder.
Yeah, it's like a remainder, and that's just like my other villain was Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
You didn't say at the beginning, so
I
we
know,
don't have to talk
but
about
too
it.
bad.
What about Sauron from the X-Men?
late.
He's a pterodactyl.
Same guy.
So like like Sauron, Lord of the Rings, like he still has a ring, and when he gets his cuts off, that ring is still kind of like a Horcrux.
Yes.
So that's why he can come back as like a different shape, but he's trying to like gain possession.
Okay, yeah. So,
Alright.
so back to Ansem.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I know, man. I know.
And now
So,
we're talking
once he-
about Jesus in this podcast.
Oh no! I'm gonna get to the worst villain of all, Jesus Christ, at the end. Don't you worry.
Hey, don't do my boy Jesus like that.
We're gonna-
No. Jesus is great, and you know,
I know.
him and his family came here legally.
He turned water into horchata. You can't be mad at that, man.
water into
Turn this
horchata.
water into wine.
Horchata is the most divine creation on this earth.
What about empanadas?
That's his body.
Back to fucking villains, all right, guys.
This is how fucked up Kingdom Hearts is.
In all the right ways.
Listen. We'll talk about Kingdom Hearts in its entirety in a whole nother episode.
I'm not prepared for
Yeah,
that. Nobody
none of
will
us
ever
are.
be prepared for that.
Hey,
It'll
check that
be
one
a-
out on the
it'll be a
Patreon.
It's like the
two-parter.
one meme of Charlie going like this on the board with all like the cross threads going
Yeah,
on.
we'll put that on the Patreon. That'll be a bonus one that people will
It'll
have
be
to pay
9
to be
hours
confused.
long. Okay,
I got
so
9 hours.
Ansem is one of the only two Heartless that actually have human intelligence, so that's why he's such a main antagonist. And the way that he uses his power, he treats people's hearts as either tools to manipulate them, as well as like different people. And also, if you remember playing Kingdom Hearts, he created when he was inside of Riku.
Nice, like when you came inside those villains.
When he was inside of Riku, he created that Keyblade, and that's why you had to go to all the worlds and save all the princesses, because he was trying to collect the hearts for Maleficent's endgame to try to
Right.
unlock Kingdom Hearts.
So he's not
Angelina.
doing this for any sense of balance at all. He's just doing this to gain control. He's doing it because he wants power.
Yeah, because that goes further into Master Xehanort's.
We're not even gonna fuck with that
but
today.
You have to. You
What?
have to.
Patreon episode, Ryan.
Okay. I'll have to replay all the games again. But
I have the third one. Come on over.
Okay.
Come on over, baby.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, yeah, they're just trying to balance light and dark. They're trying to conquer Kingdom Hearts. That's their damn end game. That's it.
That's great.
that's the bad guy? That's the Conquer Kingdom Hearts?
That's the bad guy.
Holy crap.
TJ, after you've got the whiplash from that, go ahead and
Goodness gracious.
come on back and
That's
talk
nutty.
to us.
Let me break,
Let's bring it
break
back.
Apocalypse down for you.
Yeah, why don't you
Break it on down.
take us back to the old days.
Yeah, way in the way back here, we got Apocalypse.
first mutant.
Arguably the first mutant, that's right.
I thought Jesus was the
thanks,
first mutant.
No, he predates Jesus. He's born in Egyptian times.
He's BJ.
Jesus is the
Right there.
same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, friends. I don't know.
That's not how that works.
That's,
Because he was born on Christmas, so he had to start at some point.
that's right. And
So talk to us about
Santa was
Apocalypse.
born on
that's-
Christmas.
That's the gospel according to Kelsey right there.
Yes, Jesus
So-
brings us the gift of life.
And Apocalypse.
Yes.
So Apocalypse.
You ain't wrong.
That's
And
right.
presents.
Big blue dude. All right. And anyway, he's a mutant, the first mutant. But his whole deal is that he wants to create the conditions under which only the strong will survive.
Yes.
So you apply that through every era and every epoch, and he's got his own eccentricities. He's got access to celestial technology. He's got 4 horsemen, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But the point really is that he believes that he's going to create a world in which the strong will survive, and therefore the weak shall perish,
Exactly.
or at least serve the strong. So in that case, you got things like the Age of Apocalypse where that actually happens, but
The first Flashpoint.
the first Flashpoint, wrong universe, but sure, whatever. But
Somebody out there gets that.
But that's one of the first major arcs in X Factor, where we've got Apocalypse taking folks and making them better, stronger, faster. He has the technology.
Oh my God, they're Daft Punk.
You know,
Yes.
there's a $6 million
No.
man. in 19
They are the horsemen.
right, but that's in like a $6 million man, like $1986, I think, and so that's something like the $12.8 billion. Anyway, the point is that anyway. So his philosophy is strong will survive. So sometimes that works in the favor of the X-Men.
Sure.
Sometimes that works in the favor of certain mutants, but most of the time is usually against them.
So we're not talking someone being evil for evil's sake, but having an ideal that is their code of conduct always.
You can argue that the strong will survive is always going on. That's the theory of evolution.
Sure.
But always his aims, his schemes, his arcs, and everything like that are almost always detrimental to the rest of the human race, at least.
Sure, but you said it's strong will survive.
Exactly.
I mean,
So they ain't the strong.
I was at Walmart the other day. There was one last Marvel Legends figure, and a 12-year-old tried to fight me for it. Guess who got that? The
12-year-old.
The 12-year-old. That's
we
the
all saw
strong
that coming.
surviving.
I have asthma. I won't survive.
And his name is Inshabanor, which means the one that will survive for a reason.
Yeah, and he has several
So
abilities.
now he's back
but,
from outer space.
So no.
all right. Yeah. So anyway, he's got all kinds of different abilities and whatnot, and that's all interesting. But the real point is that just like the movie X-Men Apocalypse, he's trying to find out who the strongest are. He's got several different theories about it.
Right.
Exactly.
But that makes him a villain because usually the X-Men are trying to protect both humanity and the mutant race.
Coexistence. He's like, fuck all that.
And so
If you ain't strong, you ain't getting
and
along.
he's not exactly anti-human. He just
Yes,
believes that
that's
the
true.
mutants
Are
are
the
going to be the
strongest.
strongest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, he's another ideologue, right? Under the right circumstances, I'd take a fairly extreme set of circumstances, but he'd be the goodest guy among the picks of all the villains, I suppose. But
The most noble?
Magneto, though, Magneto on several occasions has been the savior of the Earth. But
Right.
but most of the time the enemy.
So
Yes.
okay, with these villains, I guess one of the big questions I have, because there's a lot out there.
Right.
There's a lot, but I want to know, in your opinion, what's the worst thing they've ever done? What's the one worst thing you can pick out for any of these
all right.
villains?
I'm going to start this one off.
Yeah, I figured you had something.
Yes, because I'm going to start this off with Victor Creed, a.k.a. Sabretooth.
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 That's Logan's father, right?
Yes.
No, he's not.
All right.
What?
So for a long time with Wolverine and Sabretooth, they didn't know what to do with these characters. Like Wolverine origin was not officially established till I think the early 2000s in the origin comic book.
Yep.
So for a lot of time, Sabretooth would taunt him and make you think that he was like his father, his brother, his
You know I
uncle.
fucked your mom, right?
Exactly. Like he might have. So for a long time, Victor Creed has been like the Venom Or not, actually, he's more the Carnage to Wolverine Spider-Man. Because he actually debuted in Iron Fist number 14 in August 1977. Whoa. If anybody wanted to know that little fun fact. But with Sabretooth, he doesn't care. He's all instincts, rage, and murder. And that what separates Wolverine from him, because Wolverine's always talking about caging the animal, being a human, when Sabretooth's like straight animalistic instinct and primal actions.
No, I think it's a hell of a point because they're functionally the same character.
Yes.
Right.
They're both born roughly-ish, sort of, depending on who you read, about the same time.
Yes.
They have essentially the same healing factor, the same kind of claws effect anyway. One has adamantium, one doesn't. But
one had Sabretooth did get adamantium at one point in time.
In his teeth.
No, he had it through his whole body. But then after Wolverine had lost this, and they fought for the new Horsemen of Death, because Apocalypse put him in basically a fight club scenario. Yeah, and Wolverine won, so he stripped the adamantium out of Sabretooth and gave it back to Wolverine during that late arc in the 90s with the whole Apocalypse the 12 thing, and when they find out Wolverine
So
was
what's
from
the worst thing he's done in your book?
So guess all right. So back during Weapon X or post Weapon X, during that whole time period, there's a character in their squad named Silver Fox. If you watch X-Men Origins Wolverine, she was in that movie, and Wolverine and her had a thing. And one day he came home and found her killed, and it comes to find out that it was actually Sabretooth who had killed her, and it happened to be Wolverine's birthday. So every birthday of Wolverine, Sabretooth, no matter where he at in the world, what he's doing, he always makes sure he finds Wolverine and comes back and fights him to the fucking death.
Damn.
No matter what. So every year, Logan knows this is coming, but at the same time, he's kind of like, But as soon as you know it, before you know it, Sabretooth is there they're ripping each other to pieces, threads.
This isn't always
all those
true,
things.
though. Because sometimes on Wolverine's birthday, somebody else tries to kill Wolverine.
That's true.
And Sabretooth kills them.
Yeah, yes, thank you for that.
But this time, Sabretooth just got him like a reverse IKEA gift. He found something in place, in this case,
a different type of
torture, and sliced her up so that way Wolverine could have fun putting her back together again.
Yes, and then also
I think that's the
Sabretooth.
IKEA story.
That's the IKEA story, yeah.
And then Sabretooth was also a part of the mutant massacre down in the sewers with the Morlocks. Because it's one of those things that Gambit was hired by Sinister to find the Morlocks, and Sabretooth came in with the Marauders.
No, he didn't.
And killed them all.
It's a clone.
That's right. It's always a clone.
The clone is still Sabretooth.
So,
like, he was going to do what the real one would have did.
I almost don't want to ask you about what the worst thing Ansem's done.
It's none of the two that I talked about.
Oh.
But it has to do with the Green Lantern universe.
Get into it.
It's the destruction of Coast City.
So this is Atrocitus.
No, not Atrocitus.
Ansem the Wise.
Both of them. It's actually
Ansem in the video
Ansem's.
game?
It's Ansem the Wise's. No, I'm bullshit.
I was like, this didn't happen.
Okay, so Cyborg, Superman, Hank Henshaw, and Mongol destroyed Coast City, and they killed billions and billions of people.
That's true, but did it take all of them to do that though?
I think it was just Mongol working for Hank Henshaw.
Okay,
but then
but it was all like a part of the plot. Okay,
as for killing thousands of people, how it also went to make Hal Jordan become Parallax, because that was his group. Because he tried, it was heartbreaking because he tried to rebuild the city with his ring, and it was revoked by the Guardians, and they're like, "Nah, bro, you can't do that.
It's one of the rules. You can't do that."
And then like once Hal Jordan starts like getting the white like on his sides, and that's Parallax trying to infect his ring, and then like he goes up and murders like the whole entire Green Lantern Corps.
Damn.
So yeah, I think that's probably the one of the worst things that a villain's done.
Well, I got nothing bad to say about Magneto.
No, he's a good guy.
He's awesome. He had some valid points. That's a shout out to Jane Miles explaining the X-Men right there. But anyway, no. So Apocalypse though.
Not even. So you're not even going to talk about when Magneto in the Ultimate Comics flooded the Earth?
No, I won't talk about that. But I will say Magneto ripping out Wolverine's adamantium, which causes.
This is one dude.
No, but that's still that caused the Onslaught thing, which also some people say is one of Marvel's worst villains.
Kelsey.
Hey,
we must let TJ talk.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, I was going to
I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you talk, TJ.
I'm going to let you finish.
And if he didn't have the Scarlet Witch, she wouldn't have had House of M, and she went and took all the mutants back to 198.
Magneto had one of the best superpowers out there.
Just one more black guy interrupting a
You
white
damn
person.
Skippy.
All right.
Hey. It's a time and place for everything. And our time and place is right now.
All right, so there's no shortage of crap that Magneto's done. Probably the worst is being shirtless in the Savage Land.
Woo!
But,
Giving it a rogue. Oh, man.
No, the getting with the rogue, that's the redemption right there. That's a pretty good idea. So Apocalypse. Apocalypse is timeless. He was at the dawn of time, he's at the end of time, and then so in the 24th century, where he's dealing with the Ascani, and that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, so he's crushing the Ascani cult, and then he's also, and this is weirdly the worst thing he's done, is that he convinced Strife, the clone of Cable, that he was the original Cable, or the original, he was the original, not the clone. Anyway, and then when he found out that he wasn't, then Strife gets all PO'd and goes back in time and wreaks havoc on the rest of the world. So, so I think from the future, when he could have just left Lion Dogs lie, he's the worst person on the planet at that point.
Right.
All right. One more thing about Mandela. When you find out he really was Zorn,
I haven't even started talking yet.
I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna jump in." No, when Charles was walking in again during Grant Morrison run, and Mandela took the helmet off and re-crippled Charles, like, "Ha ha, got you, got you, bitch, ain't got your legs."
I mean, it's like
Fuck your
like
helmet,
that quote
bitch.
From The Incredibles.
Fuck pulling a rug
You
from
know?
out on you. I'm taking your vertebrae
Well,
out.
it's like that quote from The Incredibles. Mr. Incredible says, you feel like a maid. You just cleaned the place up, and someone comes and wrecks it. You got to clean it up again. Magneto's, he had to cripple the guy again. Come on.
Again, just one person.
Snatch it back.
Not the worst thing he's ever done.
Snatch it back.
Now, I will say...
I ain't say the worst thing, but it's up there.
For me, I'm going to talk about the Mighty Monarch. Although at this point, he's Blue Morpho. But then he wasn't Blue Morpho, and he was back to being the Mighty Monarch.
Oh, so that's where you get your name from?
Yeah.
Shit, I need to catch up on Vince.
This might be a spoiler for you. Mm-hmm. But I think the worst thing he does is inadvertently kill his dad, who he thought was dead, but actually came back as an android. And ends up killing him after realizing it was just his. As soon as he realizes it's his dad, he's riding down this coffin with him, smashes him into the ground.
He's riding the coffin.
Yes.
Of course,
Of course he is. He smashes him into the ground, kills him, but everyone's like, "Oh, the android was the Blue Morpho," and instead of him being like, "Daddy," he's just like, "I killed him. I'm good. That wasn't me doing all those killings. It was this guy." And it's a little thing, but
It wasn't Kelsey.
Mighty Monarch is not one of those villains that you see do gratuitous killings, but then you see Dr. Dugong in one of those past. Do you remember Dr. Dugong in
No, I
Adventure
just know
Brothers?
the Pokemon.
Dr.
Gong,
Dugong.
gong,
Dr.
gong.
Dugong was his he was his arch nemesis that was assigned after he wasn't allowed to arch Dr. Venture anymore. And
He was the arch enemy, not allowed to arch anymore.
yeah, he's like, you can't
the
arch
hell does
Dr.
that mean?
Venture anymore. You gotta
Oh
let
yeah,
someone else.
the Guild of Calamity?
Guild of Calamitous Intent.
That's it.
He lost rank, and he's like, okay, so he goes and starts arching Dr. Dugong, who's just, it's supposed to be like that back and forth banter, haha, got you. But then Dr. Girlfriend, or at this point, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch tells him, just pretend it's Dr. Venture. So he pulls out a gun and he's like, "You abandoned me! You left me alone!" And Dr. Dugong's like, "I didn't do any of this. I don't know what you're talking about." And he shoots him in the fucking face.
Ryan, do you ever get the impression they're just making this stuff up as they go?
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what we like to call freestyling.
One ear and out the other. Can I say a couple more things?
No.
Of course.
Okay.
No?
All right. Make
Lay
it
it
out.
on us. Slap us in the face with those words, Ryan.
Okay.
Don't.
Two more really like that just came to mind. Two more really messed up things that have happened by villains or other superheroes that are villainous act.
Sure.
You know who Kyle Rayner is, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about his girlfriend?
In the
When did he,
fridge.
In the fridge?
Yep.
By Major Force?
Literally fridge.
Right,
She
and
was
then-
literally
That's what he used to
in
put her in
a
there was Major
fridge.
Force.
Exactly. And then during if you read The Blackest Night, she comes back as a Black Lantern fridge, and it opens and it's like Kyle. But then
You need to throw away your leftovers. It's been at least 4 years.
eat your damn Stromboli, kid. But another one, I just
It's hard.
Kyle, this says it expired 2 weeks ago. Why is it in here? It's
eat
dairy
your damn
product.
pesto.
It's a dairy product.
But I just finished.
These two Jewish women going at it.
Where did they come from?
How many meatballs do you need in here?
A lot.
Why would you put a whole box in here when there was just one slice of pizza?
Jeez.
Why, Kyle?
I have no more room for my cigarettes.
What you were saying?
Okay, sorry. I just finished Injustice. If you've ever played the game,
Yes,
as
I
well.
have.
So you lied to me when I asked you if you read it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And it was one of what also
You
one
can't
of the
spell
worst
life
things,
without lie.
one of the worst things I
So
think that
epic.
happened was Joker actually killing Lois Lane, and then it was one of the best comic books
Because
I've
Lois
ever
is the
read.
key. Snyder taught me that.
Yeah.
Zack
watch
Snyder
it.
taught us nothing.
Just
Fuck
watch
you.
it. I swear it's a good movie. It's just
Somewhere in your
to-
imagination.
Just to piss Daniel off.
Are we talking about that bullshit that you love?
What? Justice League or BVS?
So continue. I'm sorry.
The extended edition is better than
No,
the
no.
actual release,
Please
so.
continue. I'm sorry you like bad movies, but please continue.
Bad movies could be great movies.
What was I saying?
I don't know, some bullshit about Zack Snyder, I think.
Oh yeah, I think Lex Luthor's interpretation on that movie was the best villain I've ever
And we're
seen.
never going to
And
have Ryan on
and
again.
I totally agree with that.
It's like he's the Joker, but he's not.
Exactly.
It was amazing.
You're not going to be on the Pitch Perfect episode. You're not going to be on any of the bonus
I'll
episodes.
stand outside and just go zoom, 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 zoom for like 20 hours straight.
Okay.
All right.
Talk about true villain. No, I'm joking. That shit was trash.
It was a bad
No, not the
movie.
movie. Just that
It wasn't
performance,
well
but-
done.
So these guys...
Talk about villains.
These villains, they're all pretty bad. They've all done some bad stuff.
Zack Snyder should be the villain, huh?
He is the villain of my life.
That's a whole other podcast.
Welcome
I think we
to
did
my
that back in
life.
like episode 3.
Do you ever
Right?
feel like breaking down? Give it up.
Are you singing Simple Plan at me right
Fuck
now?
yes, his life is a simple plan. Be happy.
No.
Do these... God damn it. God damn it. This has been one of the more trying nights of my life, and now
Yo.
I don't know what to do.
I blame technology. Ultron is the real villain here. You know what I mean?
No, is he?
Speaking of Ultron, let me talk about another villain, Megatron, for killing the only black Transformer in the first Transformer movie. Thank you a lot. No, Jazz, man. He did a flare and a goddamn pop, lock, and drop it move, and you gonna kill him. Come on, man. Like, yo, I still feel away about that.
Why has it got to be black?
Because Jazz is black. There's certain characters that aren't black that are black.
Piccolo.
Jazz is one.
Right, he was
Piccolo's
a blacked
another.
out Cadillac, that's why.
His name
No,
is...
actually, he was a Porsche.
He was a
original,
Jaguar.
yeah. He was a Porsche in the original cartoon, and then you had Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z. You also had Panthro from the Thundercats.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain
And
characters.
Megatron killed all of them?
No,
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage,
Luke
killed
Cage.
Megatron?
no,
He's
no, no.
another
yeah.
black character that's
No,
not
no.
black.
Yeah, there's certain characters that we see or we hear, and we just like identify as being of African American descent.
Yeah,
in
like
some way, shape, or
Martian
form.
Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter is
right.
always associated with being
Why?
a black character.
He's green.
Yeah, he's green, but sometimes he's depicted as African American, just like in the
Like-
Supergirl.
like dark green?
He's Hank Henshaw.
Yes, he's
Henshaw, right?
he's black green, like Hank Henshaw in like Supergirl. And
Which, have they ever hinted at Cyborg?
no, they
Superman?
did it in Supergirl, like season 3, I believe.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I stopped watching after Red.
Yeah,
Dawn.
I don't
Because you hate women being empowered.
no.
Yeah.
They came back
that's
with the
what it is,
whole
right?
red daughter instead of red son metaphor. They did that thing.
Oh,
but,
I'm gonna get a
yeah.
fire on my ass.
Light it up.
So
Like
these, so these are some bad guys. Hold on. These are some bad guys.
Let's really back in.
Are there-
You can't see me, but I'm reeling it.
He's
literally
reeling it
back
in. Is there
Moby
any
Dick was the
hope-
villain in that book.
This is how I felt talking about Ansem.
Okay, you know what? Okay. You guys got extra points? Here's my extra point before we reel it all the way back in.
Ooh, kick it.
The Toy Story cast and Toy Story were the real villains. Big Al from Toy Story 2, he was just trying to run a business. He was just trying to make money. He had to he had the luck of finding a toy, and yeah, he stole it from a garage sale. And you know what? Fuck Andy's mom for having it out there. Fuck Andy for not taking him to cowboy camp. And fuck the toys for being like, you gotta come back with us. Because then Big Al was going out of business, and he had to sell everything for a buck.
Like a chicken.
Speaking of Disney movies and villains,
That's the response I get.
I'm
the
gonna
heart of
just say
Tafiti wasn't even a villain.
Zurg
They
is the
stole her
best
heart.
villain I've ever seen.
That's right.
I just had to
So
plug.
reeling it back in,
Moana
these
real
are some
quick.
bad hombres. These are
Speaking
some,
of hombres, can we talk about Coco and Hector de la Cruz?
that's
and that
another
villainous ass
episode. That is
motherfucker?
another episode.
Okay.
No, we may not talk about that. Kids. No.
Remember me.
You can sing
hell,
about
this
it.
episode.
My niece loved that song.
Is there any hope for redemption for any of these characters? Is there a chance, aside from Axis, where they all got inverted, or
then when
a
it's-
cosmic cube, which changes your history, is there a chance for them to turn over a new leaf on their own?
To be considered good guys
Yes.
or
Yeah.
less villainy? Well, Doom
Explain.
came back that way after Secret Wars under Business Pen. I bought that comic, and that was pretty cool. But then he also, like we talked about the episode previously, the status quo went back to being the same. He was trying to live up to what Reed saw in him and in his own potential to show that he could be a better person. He tried, but then he goes back to being Doom. Magneto's a little bit different because he's always on the side of mutants. So with the X-Men, like we talked about before, if you're a mutant and you're a villain, you could always be an X-Men at some point in time if you're trying to fall in line with their ideologies. So I think, depending on the circumstances of these heroes, to some people they can be seen as heroes, but some people always thought they were heroes in the first place. So it's kind of like...
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to dovetail on your Magneto comment there.
You're gonna ducktail?
Woohoo!
Dovetail, a little different.
Not Deer Tails, not Berry Tails.
No, it's like a
Berry Tales.
Berry Tails is a YouTube cartoon series about
Y'all remember Veggie Tales?
that bears that act black.
It's not a VeggieTale.
Yeah, it's not a Veggie Tail.
We don't talk
Not
about
Cottontails,
we don't talk about VeggieTales here.
but DuckTales.
It's not right.
My fault.
It's not right. There's too much backstory.
Yes.
All right, you don't know what's going on here. Don't try to bring in VeggieTales. You don't know what you're talking about. All right?
Listen, I can talk about
Okay.
VeggieTales.
You can't
Yeah,
talk.
we
We
ain't talking about eggplant
We
emojis.
said we weren't going to talk about VeggieTales. Okay. All right.
But I have this whole sheet of paper based on
you don't.
Veggie Tales.
Look, I'm just trying to keep us all
Christian carrots.
upbeat here. We talk about VeggieTales. We're going down a dark road, Ryan. Don't go there, man. All right.
You don't want
VeggieTales-
to end up like the worst villain
For
in
real,
history.
you don't want John
Jesus
the Baptist
Christ.
Brussels sprouts popping up.
Look, you opened that door. You said VeggieTales, right?
right, here we go.
I told you before
we
the
go.
podcast. There's no goddamn VeggieTales on this. All
We
right?
go from Veggie Tales to the blood of Christ.
It's not a very far leap. All right, it's like a hop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are you
Samson
done?
Squash.
Are you
Some
happy?
other Christian
You got
names.
you got Daniel crying over here. All right. Crying over the blood of Christ. It happens at damn near every podcast.
It
All right.
does. The tears
All right.
are real.
Let's bring it to a more
swear to
upbeat
Bob.
note with
Reel
like
back into Magneto.
yeah, Magneto. Okay, with the power of magnetism. All right, he can do all things. He can be great. He can be good.
You're
And
talking
wh-
like he's Jesus.
Yes.
Because he's a villain, just like Jesus.
He's a Jew, like Jesus was.
Oh man, I wasn't gonna go there. I'll go to a lot of weird places. I wasn't going there.
And they try to kill Magneto
That's
for
right.
being special with powers. That he also could walk on water.
That's true. With the power of
see
magnetism.
it.
and
How do
faith.
magnets work?
I don't know,
Faith.
but they work.
Magic.
Probably communion somewhere.
duh.
I'm sure.
What if Jesus is Joseph and... Never mind, I'm not
Yeah.
getting into
Okay.
that.
So
Back to Jesus.
Joseph
Nito.
is the...
all right. So Magneto has demonstrated several times that he's capable of good.
Yes.
Usually when he gets or de-aged, he turns into not a terrible guy.
Like when he pulled Kitty Pryde back to Earth in that big-ass
from
bullet.
from the big ass bullet. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, well, that was dope.
Got it. How do you defeat Kitty Pryde? Put her in a big ass bullet in space. Anyway,
Space metal.
That's what they did to Corona.
but overall, Magneto generally always comes back to the. Either he starts believing in Xavier's dream and then gets betrayed, and so he needs to be on the side of mutants again. And on several times though, he's tried to do the right thing. Right-ish thing
For mutants.
Yeah, and for humanity. So we got this continued conflict between humans and mutants. Well, tell you what, I got this whole big ass asteroid up in space, so we'll just send all the mutants there. So you know what, y'all got no problems.
True.
All right. And then of course the mutants couldn't handle that, and so. So that's wrong. But how about Apocalypse? Apocalypse, you'd think, hell no, never.
No.
And that is true. However, Apocalypse clone, you got
Kid Apocalypse, Evans.
Evans-
But also
Evan
before
Hasselhoff.
that, after dissemination, when he gave the blood of Apocalypse to all the DPR mutants, trying to give them their abilities back to respark the mutant gene and the ascension of mutants, that's when we got Gambit as Death and Polaris as Pestilence and Sunfire as Famine. And there was Gazer as the other one, War.
fairly remote corners of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I like that art because like Gambit's one of my favorites, and they gave us
Yeah.
the Hellbound, and he came back in that, but that's another story.
So quickly then, so Evan, his clones, young kid, teenager. Turns out that he's wrestling with his destiny, but it doesn't. And he's got a little bit of like internal nature that's driving him toward like a power lust, more times than not, he brings it right back, and he's basically a good guy, a very powerful good guy.
Would you like to explain how he got that internal conflict?
I don't know. We're running out of time.
Real quick.
No. The point really is here is that Apocalypse himself probably not realistically. However, copies of him under different circumstances probably so.
True that.
And as for Atrocitus, I kind of feel like he already maybe redeemed himself in a little bit once, because he went to Earth, and then when Earth was threatened, not that he had no choice, he had the choice, but he ended up helping the rest of the Guardians, like the whole spectrum, and helped defeat Necron. So I kind of feel like he redeemed himself, and I haven't really heard of him much after the whole Red Lanterns comic series. And hopefully they bring back everything like that. And
Right.
Like I'm hoping in like the season 2 of the Green Lantern comic series that they go deeper into the emotional spectrum. And I miss all those guys. But
Without a 20-minute tirade, is there a chance of Handsome redeeming himself?
yeah, I was getting there. But okay. It'll go into a different episode. But like
20 minutes later.
Do not mention him accepting Jesus as his Christ.
he kind of
Jesus
looks like
as
Jesus.
his Christ?
He's trying to open the. He's trying to shut.
Because Jesus
the door
isn't the
to
first
light.
or the last Christ. I watched Dogma, so it is what it is.
In Kingdom Hearts 1, he never redeems himself. He dies a villain, but since he's like he's the Heartless of Master Xehanort. In Kingdom Hearts 3, it's kind of weird how they do everything and all that shit. But
Oh,
I mean,
Turns out it was just like a chess game. It was a whole thing to see
it
if they
was
could.
if you know who. Oh man, I forgot it. Iroquois, Master Iroquois. Have you played Kingdom Hearts 3?
I've beat every game of it.
Okay, well, like how he was inside of him.
it all comes
And
back
then-
around
yeah,
like a boomerang,
full
baby.
circle.
Captain Boomerang,
And then,
another villain.
and then I feel like he kind of redeemed himself right there. Like I haven't. I need to play through it again, but I feel like it's fuck this.
Like Video Master?
All right.
Oh, no, Control Master. Or was it Control Frequency Time?
How about you guys, Daniel?
Mr. Sinister will never redeem himself. He will always lie. He will always cheat.
You know why?
All right,
You know
House of
why?
X, Power
Like
of
your
X.
no good, dirty, rotten, stinking
Hold on,
grandfather.
Hold
No,
on,
no, no.
Hold on, you Philistines.
Wait.
This is my time.
Exactly. But do you know why he would never redeem himself?
Because he's always the same. He's always he's sinister.
Thank you.
He's sinister. It's in his name.
I didn't want to do it
Like the
again.
It's hard,
sinister
hard to be a good guy named Mr. Sinister.
Exactly.
You know, Mr. Stir.
or Doctor Doom.
yeah.
Hey, like we said, he is a good guy.
But Sinister will never redeem himself. He'll play like he is until his needs have, different needs.
Yeah.
His needs have needs the same way his clones have different needs, have different roles. Riddler will not either. I think he's got chances to do good.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll do it for like a moment of humanity, but that's it.
If you watch Gotham.
I won't.
But he needs a good guy to help break his code.
Exactly. As far as the Mighty Monarch goes,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
His time as the Blue Morpho was amazing. He was a vigilante. He was actually doing stuff. Now with the revelations of the last season, we just saw season 7 of Venture Brothers. There's a real chance of him changing in a really big new way, and I think that's exciting to see. So I think there's a chance. I think that just about covers all of our bullshit today. That was a lot of bullshit. Final thoughts, and I swear to God, anyone brings up VeggieTales, I'm flipping the fucking table.
Here we go.
All right, Ryan, you have been warned.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Ryan.
Can't tell stories about vegetables.
No, you may not. Damn.
What about fruit?
now fruit?
Fuck you.
Fruit Fables.
Fruit,
Not VeggieTales, but Fruit Fables.
Fruit Fables is a whole different thing. I mean, that's not even related.
All right, folks, that's been our show today. Thank you
Whoa.
for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one short.
Is it though?
Fuck you.
I'm so-
We have been recording at Escape Velocity Comics. They don't
Yes,
care.
we
They don't do
have.
anything. We don't do things. They don't do things. There's the disclaimer. Basically, our ideas, our opinions, our beliefs do not reflect that of Escape Velocity. It's staff, it's owner, it's customers, it's mom, it's dad, it's siblings, it's brothers, it's sisters, it's children, it's lovers, it's exes, it's... Yeah, so they're not us, we're not them. We all are independent entities. Ryan, thank you so much. Anything you'd like to plug? Anything going on?
We have a show, Trinary.
That's great.
Wow.
Oh, you weren't lying.
You're not
Sassy.
invited. We have a show coming up at Black Sheep on Friday. I think we're playing first, but it starts at 7.
Okay.
I think. We're playing first. Trinary. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram.
We've had a song of yours on here, I
yeah.
believe. Yeah.
2 or just 1?
Just
I think
one.
it was just Sign Cells.
Yeah.
I see how that is.
Yeah, we'll put the other one up on
Yeah, I'm
an
sure you
episode
will.
when we forget about you. TJ, if people are looking for you,
All right, you can't find me. All right. Once again,
He's a ghost
Never
in the
find me.
shell.
you can always reach me at Escaping Velocity on Facebook or any of those. I'll answer the responses if we ever get any. But I'd like to plug with absolutely no endorsement, support, or acknowledgement. Arrogant Bastard Ale that I've been drinking this whole time. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, I picked this because most villains are arrogant bastard ale, are arrogant bastards. But I would like to say that thank God we have villains. Because otherwise the heroes wouldn't get any better.
I find it very funny that you're thanking the biggest villain of them all, God.
Thank VeggieTales for villains.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were going to do that.
It's all about...
Kels, what's going on in your life? Where can the people find you?
People can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, Kels for show, and Facebook, my government name, Kelsey Greer. If you want to find me there, I'm good at memes. People say they like them, so it is what it is. And this week, pay attention to CW. Batwoman just debuted Sunday. Supergirl's back. All those Arrowverse shows are coming back around. So yeah, that's what I want to do. Free plug.
If we're doing non-sponsor, I'm not sponsored, but get your plumb bobs at Home Depot.
Yes, I'm not sponsored by CW.
You got to get your own string, but once you get that string, you could plumb anything.
Now, do I need to put the string up my ass first, or can I eat it and then as it comes back out?
Your body, your choice.
All right.
It's your thing. Do what you want to do.
Oh my God.
I'm not telling you
Oh my
who to sock
God.
it to.
Thank you for listening, everyone. You can find me on Facebook under Daniel Rojas. Instagram under Blue Morpho, one word. The O's are zeros. As far as Snapchat goes, you don't want to see this. You can't handle this. You're not ready for this. So don't ask unless you mean it. Wink. Today we leave you with Face You Know by Hello Mountain. They're a local band. They've got a new album coming up by the end of the year, and I think they're doing a private event coming up, so you probably couldn't find them there. You could sneak in, but you'd have to find it. If you or anyone else you know would like to have your music featured on the show, email us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. Find us on the streets, wait outside our windows, cuddle us when we sleep. Find a way to get to us, and we will get your music on the show if it's not anything about like Hitler eating babies. There's certain things that we won't put on here, but that's one of them. All right, folks, thanks for listening. We will see you next time. We do have a bonus episode coming up about Joker. Check it out. It should be on our Patreon, which we are getting set up. There can only be one chum bucket, folks.
Hey, and this is TJ saying, if you can't be great, at least do good.
And just remember it, kiddos. Whether you're locked up in Gotham PD or strapped into a cell at Arkham Asylum, you can always be escaping. Stay uncanny.
You never said goodbye. I saw your intentions, yeah, you didn't even try. I don't even mind. Still have to wonder why you turn around when I come around. Am I your face you know? Or is it how it goes when I decide to Or is it